Oh, shit. He has returned. The legend, Dan Mumford. That's right, has
Yay.
returned back to the channel to talk this time, to talk movies with us, which is awesome. And like I said before, brother, you're always welcome to come back anytime, do movie reviews with the old samurai or just discuss film. But today is a special day because it's been a while since on our series, Is It Really That Bad? We've done 2 movies at once. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. I was just like, you know what, Dan, he's extremely busy all the time. So he's like, you know what, let's cram in another movie here. And, you know, 'cause at first we were supposed to just do one movie. We were like, let's cram it in. But it's going to be fun talking movies. And today we have 1995's Judge Dredd and Alien Resurrections, 1997 release back in the day. And we're gonna get into it. Let's see who's here this early morning, at least on my side. Thomas Latimer says, no, it's really not bad in his opinion. All right, look at that. Eric Plantier showing up. Lady Danish. Kevin Lambert. That's right. Movie Dojo Army showing up right now. Okay, let me see here. All righty, I saw that, Dan. All right, I will do my best. If I go too long, keep me in the loop, all right?
No.
But yeah, it's always fun to talk movies and hang out here. All right, so Judge Dredd, baby, yeah. So I'll talk about how I discovered Judge Dredd in the theater, and then you can talk about your theater experience. And then you know, I just did pretty much just like you. Like I just rewatched these yesterday. You know, because it's been so long since I've watched these. But yeah, 1995 me, big Stallone fan. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what this is. I remember the trailer music for Judge Dredd was phenomenal. If you watch the trailer for Judge Dredd right now, it's phenomenal. It makes the movie look amazing. The score for that short piece of a trailer has been reused for other trailers because it's so good.
It's good music, yeah.
And I went to the theater, and as soon as this movie started, they showed all these comic book panels in the title, and I was like, "This is a comic book movie?" Like I had absolutely no idea.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no idea. This was and I was a comic book guy, but for some reason, I somehow missed Dredd for some reason. So before the whole MCU flashed their comic book panels before the movie starts, Judge Dredd did it first, right? But yeah, you know, I have an issue with the film. Now, it's not perfect. There's flaws. I mean, there's flaws. Obviously there's flaws, but I mean, we'll get into the flaws. But my big pet peeve is going to be the third act. That's my biggest really pet peeve for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Up to that point, though, I was entertained. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I didn't know anything about the character. I was just like, hey, Stallone's playing this, character, and, it's cyberpunky, and we got action, and, like, I didn't really, wasn't, like, completely out of the loop. Now, I don't know, like, were you a fan of the comic? Did you know about the character when the movie came out?
Yes. So, because Judge Dredd is a comic, it's from the UK,
right.
and it's on the comic imprint 2000 AD, which is, there's quite a few cool different characters that came from that in their own sort of little universe.
Right.
But I don't think it, especially in the 90s, I do not think it was much of a thing outside of the UK. Maybe a bit in Europe, but so when the film came out, so it's 95. So I was too young, really. I was only 11 then, but what did happen?
Make me feel old.
Sorry,
no, it's fine. It's fine.
But luckily, my dad was well into that stuff with me, so he indulged my comic book side anyway. So
nice.
I would go to the library and I would take out the 2000 AD graphic novels because weirdly they had like huge collections there, and I'd take them out with my mum and dad, probably not really knowing that they were quite graphic in their content, like violence, nudity, swearing, like a lot of that stuff, right? And as a kid, I was just like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Like, I'm not meant to be looking at this, but I am. So then when the film came out, and the film's, it's not exactly what I'd say is PG. It's it's a 15, right? I think because it's quite
Well,
violent in
that
places.
was another problem I had with the movie. Is and we're looking at it now, looking at it
Yeah,
again now, is that it's legitimately has an R rating, but it
right. Yeah.
feels. I've heard there was a lot of studio interference on cutting back.
For sure. Yeah,
So not make it as well. Well, then make it PG-13 in.
yeah.
So it's kind of like it. That's unfortunately the movie feels like a soft R.
Yeah, it's one of. I mean, and this weirdly, Alien Resurrection and Judge Dredd, watching them back to back, I have a lot of feelings about both of them that are very similar because
Mm,
they feel very much of that moment, and the violence in both of them is quite high as well, and that's fine with
well,
me. Like,
especially
I quite,
Resurrection though. Like
whoa,
Resurrection is
whoa,
like
yeah.
really violent.
We'll get to
Yeah,
that, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
like, I was. It reminded me that in the 90s, what you had was whenever anyone got shot in most films above a PG, you had a squib, like you had
Right,
blood coming out, right?
right.
Whereas nowadays, they try and get everything to what is it, a 12 or something?
It's
Uh,
a it's CGI blood now.
yeah,
It's
but
very
a lot of the
rare.
time they don't even bother with the blood. Sometimes I think in violent films, you know.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah.
Whereas in the 90s, I think they kind of just went for it and they
Oh,
didn't.
80s and 90s, balls to the wall. That's
Yeah,
just
it's amazing.
yeah.
Um,
RoboCop. Just look at
yeah,
RoboCop.
but that's the thing. I think these films in the 90s, before they sort of started to get, I don't want to use the word sanitized, but they did to an
Right.
extent get sanitized. But before then, like in the 90s, you still had these films that I think were like Judge Dredd. It's aiming for a teenager audience, I feel,
Yeah.
and it's not really, you know, I don't think you should be watching it if you're not 15 at least. I don't know.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
Right.
but anyway, sorry, we've kind of gone off. But basically, when the film came out,
Hmm.
I wasn't able to see it in the cinema because I was too young.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure my dad rented it for me, and I watched it at home.
All right.
And I, you know, and my memory of it from back then, and I probably haven't seen it since the 90s. My
Right.
memory of it from back then was, this is cool. It's bringing something I like from the comics to the screen, and without a critical mind, because I was, you know, I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really dissect it too much.
Right.
So while a critic might be like, "This is awful for all these reasons," as a
Right.
kid,
You're
you
like
know, it kind of
fun
ticked the boxes.
explosions, good guy fighting the bad guy. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then watching it now, I was surprised at how much of it worked as a sci-fi film. I
Yeah.
don't think it's a good representation of Judge Dredd, which
Okay.
you know, the newer one that came out with Carl Urban, that's
Right.
much better in that respect.
I agree. I agree. But here's and if you missed it, whenever you get some free time, Dan, check out our Dredd versus the Raid episode. You're gonna enjoy that. You're gonna enjoy that.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. They got the character. The character was represented better. Whether people hate the new movie or not, they got the character right compared to Stallone literally only wearing the helmet from the beginning, and he put the helmet
Yeah.
on at the end to get on the bike, and then the guy took the helmet off.
Yeah.
Was trying to stop him, and that's it.
It's-
But here's the interesting thing, though, Dan. Pretty much majority of the Dredd audience, the comic book gurus like yourself, they obviously like the newer one with Urban more, right?
Yeah.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing. This one right here actually developed a small cult following, and the ones that enjoyed this one in the 90s, they can't stand the one that came out. Yeah, they were like, dude,
Yeah.
this looks like some straight-to-video crap. It's like just bland. Like, it's funny hearing criticisms for the new one, but
They're very different films.
But me, I like both.
Yeah.
Stallone's is a guilty pleasure of mine, but I love the
Yeah.
new one. But here's what fans are saying now. Fans are saying if you combine both movies, you get the perfect Dredd film. Because if you
I think
combine,
you would.
right? If you combine the gritty and the violent, like the super violent, gritty, dark aspect of the urban one, keeping the helmet on, but you have the big, colorful, bright cyberpunk world of the Stallone one.
Such a good world.
Like,
Such a
if
good
they
world.
say, fans are saying, if you combine both, you have the perfect Dredd movie. And I was like, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about it that way.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
what I really, really really liked about the Stallone one was the world, because it's at that time when CGI hadn't become too like there wasn't too much use of it.
Right.
There's so many really good practical sets in it. It looks it looks like a more developed Blade Runner in a way in some places.
Right.
Like the city scenes, especially the first like 20 minutes, I was just like, whoa, I couldn't believe they pulled that off.
Right. Check this out from chat here. We got Nina Lusick. What's going on, brother? He liked the 1995 one better. Look at that. There's fans, isn't that? It's fascinating. I mean, it's really fascinating. But yeah, go ahead.
It does a really good job of showing you loads of different aspects of that world. Okay, it's got all the judges, the police station, whatever where they are. It's got the stuff in the desert. It's got the stuff in the city. It's got a good, it's 90 minutes and it feels like a 2-hour film at least, right? It really, I mean, maybe that's not a good thing sometimes, but for me, at least it keeps me entertained. It's jumping along at a real good pace. No, and you've got the stuff in the middle when they're in the cursed earth, the wasteland, yeah. And they meet the Angel Gang, and oh man, Mean Machine, that is one of the best prosthetic jobs ever,
dude.
It's so good,
phenomenal looking, amazing. And for you Walking Dead fans on there, the gentleman on the right, that's Herschel. The character is Herschel from Walking Dead.
Yes.
Whenever you watch this, I was like, holy shit, it's Herschel.
I didn't even notice at the time.
But you are correct, Dan. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Incredible.
It's phenomenal.
And you know what? 3 years later, that would have been partially CGI and it would have looked crap.
Nope, you're right.
The mid-90s were really a high point for superb prosthetics and good sets. And I think it really showed in the sci-fi sort of films like Dredd and Alien Resurrection, which also has fantastic sets.
Yes.
Because they're mainly these sort of grimy, destroyed looking stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can get away with stuff not looking perfect.
Right.
And it's the sort of thing that as an artist I do as well. If I have to draw something that's perfectly shiny, it's like, really clean, it's quite hard. If it's dirty, you can make mistakes. It doesn't matter. So a set where it's like the grimy streets of Mega City, things can be kind of thrown together and it looks like it's meant to look like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I just think the 90s sci-fi looked incredible. Like The Fifth Element as well, for example.
Yeah, The Fifth Element, I'm sure that came out several years later after Dredd.
It's about same sort of time, I think.
Yeah, they nailed the futuristic city more because technology was better. But
now I don't think that when I'm trying to think about Blade Runner 2049. I don't think that felt as visceral and real as some of Judge Dredd, which is a crazy thing to say, right? Like I wouldn't think I'd say that.
Right. Yeah. Now I have to tell you this really quick because it's going to make you laugh. But before I get into what's going to crack you up, legitimately, even people who hate this movie still admit the beginning is fucking awesome. The beginning of this movie, the opening action sequence, is really the best part of the film. It's the best part of the film, this opening action sequence. Well, you got Stallone showing up here, doing his I am the law thing, right? But in terms of over the top crazy fun, like him using the lawgiver, double whammy.
Everything in it, yeah.
Right, double whammy,
it's so silly but really good.
But it's funny, the villains are talking like they did in the comic book, like holy drock, like the curse words and stuff like that. But literally, in terms of an action set piece, he shot through the floor, came down from the ceiling, blast dudes. You got James Remar over there overacting, doing his James Remar best, right? And just really using the different parts of the lawgiver, taking dudes out, blowing off their kneecaps. I'm like, dude, rewatching this again,
really violent.
I was like, this is legitimately the best part of the film because Stallone's in the helmet the whole time.
Yeah.
He's doing his best to act like the character. And I'm like, dude, if the whole movie was like this would be phenomenal. This would be really phenomenal.
Do you know what? I didn't even hate Rob Schneider that much. He's not in it too much. And because in my head, I was like, remembering it, I was like, oh yeah, and it ruins it with that comedy sidekick, Rob Schneider. And
you were okay with him.
He's not really in it that much. And then when he is at the end, he's not that bad. He's kind of just acting. He's not being hilarious all the time. You know?
Well, I know when Dredd gets framed and throws in prison, everybody in the theater laughed at this when he's just like making fun of it. Mister, I am the law. That was hilarious.
That's around the point when I think the film stops being a Judge Dredd film. Okay, at that point, it just becomes a fairly entertaining sci-fi film, and I think that's probably one of the reasons so many people dislike it. Is like, it's a bad Judge Dredd film, sure, but I'm someone that kind of tries to see I try and get the most out of things. I try and see the good in things, even if they're trashy, right?
Right.
And I think, it's a big film. It's a big, high-budget film, and it shows, I think, as well. Like, it still looked pretty good in HD now.
Yeah.
And it's not. It stops being a Judge Dredd film, and also the villain's a bit rubbish. And like,
I actually think Armando Sante overacting kind of brings the entertainment to the film. Kind of like Raul Julia in Street Fighter. He's really the reason to watch. Now the secondary villain was kind of weak, because he was just, but Armando, I mean, come on, man. Like, this is like the memeable. This is still a meme to this day.
What's funny is
you betrayed the law. No, I mean, come on. Like, still to this day, they imitate Armando Sante's overacting because it's hilarious.
He does make it very entertaining for sure. The more that they tried to explain the plot of that, it was just a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But still, it entertained me, and it's a tight 90 minutes. Like, you're not bored waiting around for stuff to happen. It just keeps happening.
So this is gonna make you laugh. So me, I was entertained. Didn't know anything about the character. I just like Stallone. I actually went to see it again, and I brought my nephew as an excuse. I was like, "Hey, don't you want to see a cool movie? Uncle Preston's gonna take you out. What movie are we gonna see? Oh, we're gonna see Judge Dredd. You're gonna like it." I was using them as an excuse to go go watch it again. And then after we got out of the theater, I was like, "Hey, let's go to the comic shop. Let's buy some. You want some Dredd comics, right?" I was really just thinking about myself, right? But here's the funny part. Right around this part, when he gets framed, and he's like, "I'm the law," right? When he gets framed, right? My sister, my brother-in-law, and some other, they went to go see it too when it came out. Them and some other people that I knew said around that point, they literally got up out of the theater and left.
But why? Because they thought it was...
They thought this was the worst fucking movie they've ever seen in their life. And they got up and left. I can't understand getting up and leaving a film halfway through. Like, you've paid money for it. You don't know you don't know where it's going to go. Like, I've seen films in the cinema where halfway through I've gone, I'm not enjoying this. Yeah.
But I stick it out, Yeah. I generally stick it out when I'm watching something at home as well. It's very rare that within the first half hour I turn something off.
Right.
But I can't. I mean, did they know what they were going to see? Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're probably just as clueless as I was when I went to go see it. I think maybe okay, I'm just throwing a Hail Mary here. Maybe around this time, there was so much of this forced drama, and Stallone, kind of overacting a little bit. And even I actually really like the score. I think Alan Silvestri did really good.
Yeah, me too.
Giving it kind of like this heroic comic book superhero score.
Yeah,
I thought the score was good. You listen to that score, that scene, it's so big. It's so huge. And I think it's just kind of like, I don't think the audience even really knows who Dredd is yet. Like, we didn't even spend time with this guy. And I feel like maybe it was such a forced, oh no, he's getting framed. It's like, we don't even know, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, it's a film that you kind of, I think once you've seen it, you could rewatch it and go, okay, I understand what's happening. But it's like you say, you don't really get much time to learn what's I mean, it's a lot to take in a 90-minute film. Like, they pack so much in there, and it's so, like you say, it's over the top, very dramatic, very taking itself very seriously. When in reality, I think because it's kind of cheesy, they should have maybe sort of leaned more into the light-hearted nature. But then the people that like the comic book would have hated it. You know, they're in a real tough situation, to be honest with you.
Eat recycled food. It's good for the environment and okay for you.
But I love that stuff.
It's hilarious.
More of that would have been really good. And do you know what? That stuff is in the comics. And,
oh, shit. All right.
Oh, yeah. Like, you know, it's a very satirical look at the world, Judge Dredd. And
yeah. Yes.
And
I have a few comics, yeah.
I think look, people would hate me for saying this, but I do think it captures some of the big comic elements of it quite well.
Right.
But it's not the same as the comic. It could never be. I mean, you know, it's not like a great Marvel adaptation or something. And do you know what? I just remembered as well watching it. It reminded me a lot of the Super Mario Brothers film. Because
I think somebody else mentioned that before.
Yeah. Because again, same sort
that.
of time period, same sort of gritty sci-fi future,
right?
Same sort of weird, not quite right adaptation,
right?
Obviously, very different films, but I think it's just that weird cyberpunk aesthetic that just sort of draws me into those films being quite similar.
Yeah. But forever, in terms of dialogue, though, but for every eat recycled food, it's good for the environment and okay for you. You get some bad. I know you say that.
Yeah,
someone
that
someone who wrote this really thought this was going to be a thing.
yeah. And actually, right. So that little screenshot you just showed.
Yeah.
Judge Dredd's outfit looks perfect there. Just that little bit, right? Just the top half. Okay?
Yeah.
But then you've got the lycra, this sort of really skin tight lycra everywhere, and that like throws it off a bit for me.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, well, the only thing that throws it off for me is the cod piece.
Yeah.
For the dick. Like what?
It was is it Versace, I think, that designed the outfit.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
That's why they're really lavish and gold, and I mean that is the comic, but
yeah, it's fine.
I think the lycra should have been more body armor, much like it was in the new movie. Carl Urban one.
Right.
Because it just looks a bit silly. You know, lycra never looks good. Full lycra never looks good. I mean, how's that going to defend him in any way whatsoever?
It's true,
it's
right?
Weird.
No, you're on point. But again, going back to what you were saying earlier, there's definitely some really cool atmosphere to this film.
Yeah.
This movie has really good sets, atmosphere, you know, locations, and it's just they did their best to create a world. I think they succeeded.
I have no doubt the creators did want to do good with this film. Do you know what I mean? Like, and also it's got lots of stuff in there that's like real nods to the comic books. Including the Angel Gang in the middle, like really quickly. That's a big part. Mean Machine's like a big villain for Judge Dredd.
Right.
And then you've got the robot, the ABC warrior, right? That giant robot that the villain has.
Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, like
phenomenal.
Seeing that come to life as well was a big thing for me because they're a big part of the comics and have their own comics as well on their own. And it was just superb. Such a great like puppet, essentially. You know.
Yeah, but like you were saying, how good the practical effects are. I agree, man. Like there's no CGI for this thing. This thing is fucking phenomenal. Look at this shit, man. Yeah. Like this is insane.
Yeah,
this is insane.
I think that's why I while some people would be like, this film is trash, right? I can look at these films and enjoy them mainly just for certain aspects, like the effects and the look of stuff. Because I'm always taking inspiration from a lot of stuff aesthetically, but at the same time, I did still enjoy the film. I don't think it's a great film. I think it's a cheesy film. I think it's got problems, but I had a good 90 minutes rewatching it. I would not lie about that at all. It was great.
Legitimately good scenes. One of them is when the Armando Sante's character tells his boy, the ABC warrior, to go and fuck up all the judges. And then the judges were getting killed randomly, opening up the locker, getting blown up, the bikes blown up. Like, this was legitimately good shit in the movie. I mean,
it's weird. Like, there's lots of scenes I'm forgetting because, again, a lot happens in 90 minutes. I'm sure they shot a lot more as they always do, and cut it and cut it and cut it.
Right.
But I think for a film that probably tried to be a bigger thing, I think they edited it and cut it down to a fairly, it's coherent. I don't think there's much missing in the way of plot for me as a viewer.
Right.
I mean, I always think back to the first Suicide Squad film as a really, really bad example of editing, because the narrative and plot of that is bonkers. It's all over the place. And that's one where I was in the cinema going, I should be enjoying this, even just for the look and the comic book characters. But I really struggled because the plot just did not make any sense. It was all over the place,
And you know what's insane? It's funny you brought that up. You know what's insane? The original, the original cut of the movie, the audience gave the film a standing ovation.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that
movie.
Yeah. I mean,
but they hired people who edited the trailer, which got so much buzz, and they was like, "Hey, let's have these people come in and ruin the film." Yeah,
that whole situation's sad, because David Ayer is a good filmmaker. Like, I enjoyed his films prior to that. They're not perfect, they're not great, but like they're better than and they're better than Suicide Squad was. And I think, considering what happened then with Justice League and Batman versus Superman, they were just like cutting stuff all over the place.
Oh yeah.
It's just a shame, man. But that's other stuff.
No, I know it's another video we can talk about together. Yeah. But the scene where I call it the Return of the Jedi scene when they're on the bikes.
Oh yeah.
I call that the Return of the Jedi scene. It was very ambitious for its time. I mean, a lot of that blue screen, it almost feels like when you're watching that, I feel like doing a narration like, this summer at Universal Studios, ride with Judge Dredd.
I feel exactly the same thing.
It feels like Star Tours or something. Like, it just, because, the technology wasn't there. Yeah. It was very ambitious. They tried, but you could totally see the blue screen. Like, I mean, you could, it's just, some shots actually during that sequence was actually pretty good.
That's the thing.
But overall,
it wasn't awful. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst I've seen, but that's probably because the film had quite a bit of budget. And I have a similar thing to say about Alien Resurrection, where the CGI in it is okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay. But this scene right here, I don't know. This shot looks like something else is happening right now. Dredd! I didn't know you. I didn't know you cared. It's an exciting scene, but you could tell that the technology wasn't there yet. But there's even shots, if you pay attention, where they literally speed up the frame. They speed up the film to make it look like they're going faster. Because when you see them get down in the city, when they get low, you could see all the crowd on the ground moving really fast.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, oh. But other than that, it's action. It's action.
You got to take it with the time it was made in mind.
I love the guns in this movie. The guns are fucking huge, man.
Huge.
Like, the guns are like insane. I love the guns. But let's talk about and of course, we got some eye candy. We got some Diane Lane, and
I didn't know that's who that was until like the end of the film. I was like,
Judge Hershey.
That's what she looked like when she was younger. Like, and she was pretty good, actually. She didn't get much to do, to be honest, unfortunately.
She took it seriously.
She was good.
She did. Yeah. And of course, Max von Sydow's great. That guy's always great.
He was superb. Yeah. But that's just because he brings gravitas to the role, And I think that's it. You're right. Like, the villain, everyone, they're sort of treating it like they're doing Shakespeare to an extent,
Yeah.
And if you go along with that, it's entertaining,
Yeah. I actually, when he was in the beginning, like I said, when he was in the helmet, I bought him as Dredd because he was just kind of like, somebody would say something and he would just be like, he would lean over.
And you know what?
Like, I wish we had more of that.
Yeah, and it's prime Stallone. Like, I think it's kind of Stallone just before he started going over the edge and into just very mediocre stuff. I mean, we got the like awesome Rambo 4. Was it the fourth one? I think that was early 2000s. But apart from that, muscle. And he just gets wider and wider at that point.
He gets thick boy.
Oh man, but so veiny and muscly. Anyway, but yeah, in this he's still got that sort of slightly youthful look, but a little bit weathered. And they've given him blue contacts as well, which makes him look really really different to usual, because he has brown eyes normally, and in this he has those light blue eyes, which I didn't realize until I watched it. But apparently that was so that they could have him and I've forgotten his name, Rico, the other guy.
Right.
So they could have them have the same. So they could have the same eyes. Rico. Apparently. Yeah.
But let's talk about where the even though I still enjoy this film, it's entertaining. It's not high art, but it's entertaining. But what my main problem with this movie, I mean, obviously I would love to see Stallone wear the helmet more, obviously, right? But my looking at it now, but my main problem with this film, even when I saw it in the theater, that third act is such a letdown, man. That third act finale is such a letdown. I was in the theater so excited, getting ready to see these clones come up, and I thought Dredd was going to fight other clones. They were really setting this finale. It was going to be this awesome finale, and we had this lame ass fight. Me and you could put a better fight together. We could put a better me versus you could put a better fight together than their fight was terrible. Their fight was horrible. Because they're setting it up that the clones are coming alive, and I'd completely forgotten about it because they don't do anything. And you see them coming up, and they look great as well. Actually, they're these sort of like gooey blue things. Yeah, could have had Dredd take a few out or something. Yeah.
And then they don't do anything. Do they even stop them?
Well, I guess they turn off the machine or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's really addressed, and that's one of those things where I bet that was a plot point that was just cut, because it very much feels like they're waking up. Yeah. We're not going to actually show them anymore, so it doesn't matter, Right. But it's just kind of like, I don't know that when even though the cat fight wasn't that great either, it was still better than the Stallone's and Rico's fight. Yeah. Plus, you get the line, bitch, judge, bitch, right? No, they were great.
Yeah, the audience, the audience loved the judge. The audience that decided to stay and finish the movie enjoyed the judge bitch line. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, man, it's not perfect, but it's an entertaining cyberpunk action flick.
I think there's something there if you enjoy that sort of world building. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
And one more time before we go to Resurrection, you betrayed the law. Sorry, I had to do it one more time. All right, so before we go on to Resurrection, is Judge Dredd as bad or as low as 20%? Give me a fucking break.
No way.
Give me a break.
I think minimum 60%. That's what
certified fresh. Yeah. Certified fresh. So Judge Dredd gets a pass, and we're getting ready to move on to Alien Resurrection. So 1997. So here we go. My two buddies of mine came back to visit me, and they were like, "Oh my god." I was like, "What, bro? We're still shaking, man. We're still like shaking. This was like fucking amazing." I'm like, "What? What's going on?" And they said they got a test screening ticket. It's like, you put in for like, so there was a mystery movie. So this was before trailers of the movie came out. This was like a mystery movie. They had no idea what they were going to go see. They sat down in the theater, and then when it said Alien Resurrection, they lost their shit.
Can you imagine, man?
Yeah, and from beginning to end, the test audience that was there were all like, they just had a blast. Popcorn. They just enjoyed the shit out of it. And they told me, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be another Alien movie? Holy shit. I didn't even know about it. Then I started to see trailers. The trailers are good. The trailers are still good. And then I went to see the movie, and I enjoyed it. I was the perfect age for it. Now, here's the thing. Is it silly? Is it goofy? Yes. Is it weird? Is it bizarre? Yes. But is it really dog shit? No. And for the longest time, Alien 3.
The big question, is it an alien film? And I would say not really an alien film either. And
really?
I think,
okay.
Because I mean, look, we'll talk more about that. But is it better than Alien 3? I think Alien 3 is quite a good film as well. I think Alien 3, you have to take Alien 3 as what it is, and it's not Aliens, right? It's meant to be a very different film, and it's meant to be more like the original film, and it is more like the original film.
Yes. So we did a whole Is It Really That Bad Alien 3 thing, and it's the extended version of Alien 3 is actually a lot better.
The assembly cut.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like anyway, but Alien Resurrection. I mean, it's just a very different film.
Yeah,
like if you watch,
it's weird.
If you watch the 4 back to back, Alien Resurrection, I think you would go, "Whoa, what happened here?" Because it just. I mean, it's the way it's filmed as well, and it's because the director, his style is a bit different anyway.
French director, City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, and stuff like good director, good director,
superb, like really good stuff. Mm-hmm. And he made a brutal horror film basically, but with his sort of comedic elements in there. Right. Also, it's got a script by Joss Whedon, which is not great either, but because it has these sort of kind of slightly crummy dialogue sometimes that don't really play into the seriousness, perhaps. But I was 13 when it came out. Okay. And again, a film where my dad probably rented it and watched it before me and then said, yeah, you can watch it. It's fine. Like, I think when it came to things like violence, he didn't really care because he knew I was fine with that. Okay. But man, this is a violent. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Everything was, when I was young, everything was banned. Like, I couldn't watch anything. It sucks.
No, my dad's great. Like, he very much like indulged stuff and still enjoys that stuff with me. So like, we'll go to the cinema and see the more recent Alien films and Terminators and stuff, even if they're rubbish. Like, he loves going to see that with me. But this is one brutal film. This is probably the goriest of the Alien films in the franchise, I think, out of all of them. Like, a lot of up close, visceral violence, heads getting bashed off, like
crushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
The best death though is with this character right here. This character right here. This poor soul. I felt so sorry for this guy, man. I really felt so sorry for this guy. I know. But one of the best scenes in the movie, though, is when he, what's inside me? And they kept talking about something. He's like, what's inside me? And they're like, okay, we need to go to the ship. We need to go down here. But no, we can't go this way. What's inside me? What's inside me? It was so funny.
I did really like that scene, actually.
But the evil scientist guy, he fucks with those of you that are new. He got impregnated by a face hugger, essentially, and it's bursting out of his chest. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna die anyway." So he grabs the scientist guy, puts him right here, and the face hugger, the
chest burster,
the chest burster, thank you, comes out of his chest and slams through the guy's head, and it's fucking phenomenal. Oh, I love it. I love it. And
this is again, it's the 90s. Those practical effects being at the height, and it just meant things like violence when they came looked really good. And there wasn't much CGI in this film apart from the quite bad CGI aliens, mainly in the water scene.
Right. It was interesting because we never seen that.
Yes,
but of course, for its time, like you said. Like this shot right here. I just want you talking about.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the other thing is, I think this film is the first film where you kind of saw the xenomorph like properly. I think up until this point, he was always very much it was very much in the shadows. I think in Aliens you got to see them a bit more, but it was still very dark and grimy, right?
Right.
But never like that. Never well lit and clearly defined. So
for the first time, we see them swim.
Which is a first,
and I don't remember them spitting acid.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, so this is the first time we see them spit acid, which was kind of cool.
But oh man, I gotta say, I love how they look in this film in the practical version.
Yeah,
they're so slimy, they're so gross, and they never looked like that either. I think that's another thing that the director sort of brought to it, is like more slime, more goo.
Yeah. Yeah, right here. Here you go.
I mean,
and Brad Dourif's a treasure. I just want to say that right now.
Yeah, he gets a sad demise in this film, but I loved it.
Like, what a beautiful, beautiful baby.
So good, man. And so yeah, I do think like it's not an alien film.
Okay,
really.
It's interesting.
It's very much it's another film where really the pace I thought was quite good. Like it sets it up, it's interesting. What are these maniacs doing with these aliens? You meet the crew; they're all fairly fun as well. Like, they're a pretty good crew. I thought. Like, of course, they're not great. Like, most of them are very one note, but
there's some badasses here. They have their moments. You have,
and also they kill off the people you don't expect to get killed off.
Yeah, right? The captain.
Yeah, like instantly. Like I remember as a kid watching it and going, "Hang on a sec. You can't kill him this early in the film." And then they do. I was like, oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Oh, no, he's really dead.
Yeah. But despite the weird, odd, silly, goofy moments in the movie, there's some legitimately badass moments. I was just like, fuck yeah. Like the wheelchair-bound guy. Like,
he's great. I love it. Yeah.
You couldn't get into the military thing. You can't go in bringing weapons. But they didn't know his actual wheelchair had different parts that could assemble a gun. Like, this was so fucking great. And you have Christy here, who was badass, who was really cool, had the taxi driver guns.
Yeah.
And he could ricochet bullets. I'm like, this is great. But my love for Ron Perlman, though, really skyrocketed in this movie.
He's great, I thought.
Before Hellboy came out, I showed this movie to my buddy, who wasn't really familiar with Ron Perlman. I was like, just sit down.
I don't think I was at the time.
Watch this movie, and he was like, "Oh, I love this guy." Then we went to go see Hellboy, and he loved him even more in Hellboy because he didn't really know who he was.
No, I mean,
so this is a good introduction.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think we're like, so we're here saying like, ricocheting bullets off of stuff and like the basketball scene and things like that. Like, they're fun things, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't get that in an alien film, really, would you?
Right.
Because they're deadly serious.
And fun fact, this is real.
I know.
She actually made this shot. There's no CGI here.
That's so funny. But it's those elements, I think, that take it away from being an alien film. And because they're real deep, dark sci-fi, and especially the third one, which is just a grim story, Yeah. And so I think to go from that to this is just weird.
It's a weird movie.
and you've got the cloned Ripley, who is a sort of weirdly sort of sexual in her nature, like very she's sort of very
I know the way the way she's moving, because she's kind of half alien. Yeah, and I still think Sigourney Weaver's great in it. Yeah,
like she's amazing.
There's another practical shot.
I mean, look at that. That's so
look
good.
At that. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Sigourney, I think, is another reason to watch this.
Of course,
she's good.
But that's it. I don't think she's playing Ripley in this. I think she's just playing a weird woman who has been experimented on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like this film would have been a really good film if it wasn't an alien film.
Okay, all right.
Because it doesn't fit in the narrative. It doesn't fit with the other films, the ones that came after it and the ones before it. But as a film that is a weird sci-fi film, I mean, it's like the scientists doing all this horrible stuff to people. The cloning of Ripley, like that scene with all the clones, man, that's harrowing. Like,
this was like it's kind of fucked up. And again, Weaver kills it in terms of performance.
Yes, exactly. But then I think some people would watch this and think that's a really silly thing to happen in an alien film. But I don't know. I think it's a fun sci-fi film.
Yeah.
And I think it's a shame that that it's an alien film, because I think that's because I have a friend who refuses to acknowledge this film. He's like,
there's a lot of people that hate this.
He's like, there's the Alien trilogy. It's not a quadrilogy. I'm like, okay, fair enough. And I get it.
Yeah. I mean, my wife, she loves these movies. I mean, we got Alien versus Predator shelf back here.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Predator guy. My The Movie Dojo Army knows about that. But she's entertained by this film. She's like, it was entertaining, but this is her least favorite out of the 4.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the case for most people. I do think, again, this is a film that I appreciate as a film.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the alien qualities in it. And I think the journey they take through the ship as well is quite fun. You're getting lots of pretty cool set pieces. You got the underwater stuff, and then you've got them trying to go up the massive ladder.
This is my shit, man. Creature feature movies. I love this. I love Deep Rising. This is my stuff.
Yeah.
I just did Is It Really That Bad episode with Deep Rising from the director of the Skyline trilogy.
I need to rewatch that film.
You're going to be stunned what the rating is. You're going to be like, really? But yeah, again, going back to the practical effects, the abomination here.
Yeah. So do you know what? I think this is the bit where a lot of people lose it with the film. Okay, because the film has such weird concepts in it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're kind of saying it from the very start of the film that the alien and Ripley have sort of spliced their DNA together. She's got a bit of the alien in her now, and they don't really mention it until later towards the end. But the queen alien has now got a bit of human in her, which is why, why she has this strange
abomination. Born. Yeah,
and a lot of people take the mickey about they make fun out of that alien. Right, but it is horrific looking.
Yeah, it's horrifying. Yeah,
I think if you want that out of a film, if you want a really horrible thing that's going to give you nightmares, it's right there. It is right there.
It's because of the human eyes, And
it has emotion. Oh my god!
Did you feel a little bit of it's kind of fucked up, but it had to die moment at the end?
Yes.
When they suck it out of
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I think you can say it's really silly, right? But it does something. It really does do something right. You've got this horrible monster that instantly kills everything, including its mother. It just smashes her head off. Yeah. And you're sort of like, it's tricking you. It's sort of like going, "Oh no, save me," and then destroys you.
Die.
That's kind of a really awesome concept for an alien.
No, please, I just want to cuddle.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. But the effects on all that stuff are great. The queen alien in her room. Yeah. It's so. Can you imagine being on the set of that? You wouldn't have that now. You would have the alien and then just blue green screen all around it. Yeah. It's just so good. Yeah. Such good set design and such good prosthetics when it's used in this film.
Do you
I think and it all holds up pretty well.
It does. And one of the most badass moments in Alien franchise history, if you want to include the fourth one in the if you want to make it a quadrilogy, it's a quadrilogy. Jesus.
It is.
All right. But one of the most badass moments ever is Ron Perlman on the ladder, got his pistols this, and leans all the way back, upside down, shooting at the alien. Is one of the most badass. Oh my god! I was in the theater this is fucking great, man. Give me some more popcorn. God damn it! This is awesome. And then what made it funny, after he blows up the alien and shoots it, he comes back up and sees a spider, and it shoots the spider. I mean, that is hilarious. It's funny.
That's the thing. It does have those bits in it where that's not for an alien film. You wouldn't have that in any other alien film.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. It's a fun sci-fi film.
The audience, reacted the same way I did. Especially when, they get from under the water and they break through and then there's nothing but egg. What do you call it? The
eggs.
The eggs everywhere. Yeah. And then the audience was like, they all reacted like, "Oh shit," And I think that's studio wanted to make it exciting. The studio was like, "Hey, let's go back to some guns, some blasting, some excitement. Everybody was really, really disappointed with Alien 3.
Yeah,
There's so much hate for Alien 3, and for a while, 4 I liked 4 way more than Alien 3.
Oh, as a kid, I did 100%.
Yeah, right. Until the assembly cut came out, and I'd grown up and I matured as much as Samurai can mature, but still, it's still a blast, man.
I think actually it was when I was at university, like rewatching the films with my friends and stuff, and up until that point, like in my mid-20s when we rewatched it, I always thought, yeah, it goes Aliens, Alien Resurrection, Alien 3, right? Like that was the order for me, because I don't think I really appreciated how good Alien was at the time.
Yeah.
Because Aliens was phenomenal. And only rewatching them did I go, okay, there's a real tonal shift here that makes them quite hard to watch. And I can understand now why people wouldn't like all guns blazing, fun action, for an Alien film.
Well, here's a good example. One of our friends, he's never seen these movies before, and we sat him down at our house. It's like, you're gonna watch Alien, and we're gonna go right into Aliens. He was losing his mind. He was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." And then I said, "You don't have to continue from here. You can just." He can just leave it like that. He's like, "No, I gotta say." I was like, "Are you sure?" So we tried to warn him. And he was just like, "Dude, this is so." When he watched Alien 3, he was like, "This is so fucking depressing." They killed off Newt and the main Michael Biehn. Like, really? Like, he's like, "I hate this." Then he went from "I hate this" to Alien Resurrection, and he was just like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I mean, it's realistically the film series does go off the rails at Alien 3. Whilst I like Alien 3, it's
great.
It's a weird.
It's a lot better.
Weird film. It's a weird, just weird choices. Like, I mean, killing off Hicks and Newt like that is just, it's just sad, man. Like, but they were good. They were good characters.
But like you said, it really brought a realness to the third movie.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Oh man, hell, yeah. Like it's a grim film with no hope, and then it ends with no hope. Right. But it does give you the great line in Alien Resurrection when I can't remember his name, but Ron Perlman's character says, "Hey Ripley, so what did you do last time you fought these guys?" "I died."
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
It was at that point. I was like, okay.
And then after that, Perlman said, "I knew you'd say that." No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, great line. She killed it in the movie, even though she's acting differently. Sigourney Weaver's just great to watch.
She is. And do you know what as well? I've just remembered when I watched this for the very first time, I was very much, because as a kid, I kind of just, most films, I was like, yeah, this is great. I love it. If it had monsters or anything in it, I was kind of into it.
Creature features.
And when Resurrection ends and they're like, "Oh my God, we're on Earth," I was like, "They're going to Earth. We're going to have the aliens on Earth." I was so excited because at this point, I didn't really understand that films didn't always necessarily get sequels that they wanted to make.
Yeah.
But I felt, I was like, when's the sequel going to come out? When are we going to have aliens on Earth? Yeah. And it just never happened.
No.
And I'm still kind of waiting for them to maybe pick up that thread, because there's actually nothing to stop them doing that. They're doing stuff in the past.
Right.
They could do an Alien 5 with an older Ripley.
Earth.
On
what
Earth.
A shithole.
Yeah. What? I guarantee that's probably something they might do at some point.
Maybe. I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into it, but maybe the TV show that's coming will pick up, because that's supposedly on Earth.
I forgot.
The TV show's going to be on Earth. Yeah.
It would. I'm someone that likes it when films don't erase the history. Okay, so I think what the Terminator series tried to do when it was like, oh yeah, we're sort of doing something where we're going back and pretending those other films didn't happen.
Right.
Like, I know they tried to do it in a way where it made sense, but I think it's kind of lazy, to be honest. Like, try and do something new at least.
Yeah.
Try and carry the story on in some way so that you can fold it all in together. And I do hope that the Alien films don't just ignore everything that's gone before. Like,
right.
You've got them slowly trying to build out the world with Covenant and Prometheus, which has been pretty shaky.
They failed.
Yeah. Do you know what? I like Prometheus again because it's a weird sci-fi film, and it's not. You know what?
Yeah.
If you take Prometheus as not an alien film, I think it's quite a good film. And you can.
We got a theme going here. Yeah.
You can though, because the alien isn't in it really. You know.
Right. Well, the thing is Prometheus. I gave it a shot, and then I watched it again, and I actually ended up liking it. I was like, okay, Ridley's doing something different.
Exactly.
Let's see. Let's see where it goes. And Alien Covenant fucked it all up. So now I can't even go. I can't even go back and enjoy Prometheus now because Alien Covenant fucked it all up.
Yeah, because I really think they were, if they'd done the second one, which was meant to be, I think, Paradise, like it was going to be them going to the engineer's homeworld or something,
right?
And just get further away from aliens, so it's just a tangential story.
Right.
That would have been really interesting, and I know they would have done something really fun with it. But the studio just went, nah, man, you got to put more aliens in this if you're going to do another one.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you got Alien Covenant, which is just nothing happens. It's just nothing.
It's terrible.
Like
anything interesting. They're like, oh man, she's going to the engineer's planet. Oh my god, what's going to happen? Oh.
We'll kill her off screen.
Yeah,
just
off
such
screen.
A waste.
Yeah,
such a waste.
Watch the YouTube stuff to find out.
Yeah,
like, no. Right. How about you put it in the fucking movie?
Yeah. So I do hope they somehow pick up the pieces of Alien. I'm pretty sure Ridley Scott's doing another one, even though he's like in his late 80s now. So, I do think maybe it's time for someone fresh to take the reins a bit.
Yes. But here's this. Well, speaking of someone fresh that I wish would have happened, but it looks like it's not going to. We got this is the new trend in Hollywood now. We have these what if movies. The sequels didn't happen. We're going to fix it.
Oh, so I know where this is going. Yeah.
Terminator happened. Dark Fate. We didn't ask for it, but that happened. Halloween 2018. A lot of people like that movie. We didn't really ask for it, but that happened. But the one I really want to see, fuck Halloween, fuck Terminator. What I really want to see is the Alien What If sequel after the second movie that we were supposed to get with what's his name? The director Neil Blomkamp from District 9 fame. That's the one I'm actually excited for. Like fuck everything else.
But it's never happening,
but nope.
No.
It's sad.
Because they showed concept art of it. He even showed concept art talking about doing it, and it was very much like, wow, okay, if was that before Prometheus or after?
After,
I think. Okay, and then I think that's what happened, and then they were like, no, we're going to do another one that's basically Alien, so you can't do that one now. So,
yeah, but that would have been really cool, just out of curiosity.
It would have, especially having Michael Biehn come back as well.
It kind of seemed like he was down. He was kind of down if they did it, but you know how it is. But yeah, we'll hopefully for the future of Alien, because we love Aliens and we love the Predator franchise. We love the first two movies, but hopefully the franchise will get rescued.
I still don't think Alien versus Predator is that bad a film.
We're doing another episode. Hey, we can talk about it.
People hate that one too, but I think
in comparison to Requiem, it's better. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I need to rewatch them, but I think it was an okay film.
Yeah. We'll talk about it afterwards. It has some cool shit in there. I admit.
Yeah.
It does. But yeah, this was. I don't want to keep you too much. I know you're extremely busy, but this was a blast talking about both of these movies, and 39% audience. Come on now. Come on. Out of 100. Come on.
Again, I think it hits at least 60% for me.
Yes, certified fresh. Fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. That's it. They're both. See, this is the thing. I think a lot of people with films, they're either like, I really like. I think with a lot of people, they're either like, yeah, it's a great film, or it's trash. Okay, so I really try and use the full scale, and for me, quite a few films hit the sort of 60% mark.
Right.
Which means I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
And then above that, it means I really liked it. Not many films. that you have to be a really bad film for me to dislike it that much.
And our we've watched so many movies, Dan, that our tolerance for bad is a lot better than other. I
think that might be it.
Yeah. Other people's tolerance for bad. I'm like, that was the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm like, really? You haven't seen Manos: The Hands of Fate, have you?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what a bad movie is. Watch Manos: The Hands of Fate.
Yeah, I've definitely watched some bad films, and I think that really does make you appreciate films that are really not that bad.
It does actually.
So
but yeah, this was a blast. And again, another Ron Perlman line before we head out made me laugh. He's like, "Oh, there's more of these things out there." He goes, "You know what? Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's let the army deal. All right, let's let the army guys deal, man." Where the fuck are the army guys? Bro, just
all gone.
Brilliant. But yeah, this was a blast. We got to do this again. Chat Movie Dojo Army. Make sure you guys follow Dan Mumford. Buy his merch. The amazing artist that he is. I put his store and Instagram in the description box below of this video. Make sure you guys follow him. He is phenomenal. This is just a small, tiny taste. Yeah, this is a small, tiny taste. This is nothing compared to what he usually does, but this is still phenomenal. I love this animated series shot here. I love this stuff. But yeah, he is amazing. Artist, make sure you support, follow him, and he was cool enough and badass enough to come back to the channel again to hang out with us today and talk movies. And we'll do a lot more of these in the future.
Yeah, it's great fun.
You're welcome back anytime, my friend.
Thank you.
And again, happy Mother's Day for you guys. And before you go, remember to eat recycled food. It's okay for the environment and okay for you. We see you badasses next time. Take care, guys.